Right, we're going to take the neck off and see if the same situation underneath is what Jason saw with that middle hole where they probably used it to hang the body when they were painting. And it is identical. Identical the way that's formed in there. Now his neck was really tight. Let's see. Yep, this one's really tight also. I put that capo a little too close. And what are we going to use? What are we going to use? We're going to use... I thought I had a bigger one. There we go. We're going to use a square dowel. Get it up underneath there. Use that to pry it up more straight. It's very tight on the plastic of the pick guard, I think. There is a shim in here. I got a shim. I don't think it's substantial enough to use the rest of that plastic from the pick guard. So I looked at changing this bridge plate to a 6 saddle type. However, the dimensions do not conform. These smaller Wilkinsons have 4 screw hole tie downs. The 6 saddle ones have 3 screws. The dimensions are 97 millimeters long this way, which puts this pickup more forward of where it is now. Actually 10 millimeters further forward from where the string holes come through the back of the plate. So 10 millimeters this way is a full centimeter. And a full centimeter forward, I'm not sure what's under this plate to see if there's enough room, but also 97 cuts into the pick guard up here, longer, and it's 80 millimeters wide, and this one's only 78. So the width is not really an issue. It's more the length and the displacement of where the bridge pickup is going to be. Until I take that off, I won't really know if there's meat in there. I could likely route it out in there so that the pickup could fit in. I want to see stuff first. So the first thing I wanted to see was there a shim? And there is. Now because of the way I've got this, I don't think I'm going to be able to show it to you. It's a there's 2 pieces of paper, really, really, really thin, that say water, which I think says proof. Yeah, the other part of it there says OOF, waterproof. They cut it in half and they stuck it in. Together they are 0.32. 0.32, 0.33, depending on how hard you, 0.31, depending on how hard you squeeze it down. And if you really squeeze it down, it's like 21 and 31. So there is some unevenness to it. You know, I'd say that part of this pocket might have been routed with the pick guard on, except there's a little bit here of a bubble, which is what's making it a little tighter on the pick guard than on the side of the neck than it is actually in the pocket. A little bit of buffing compound in the corner, not much. Doesn't look like they did any sanding on the pocket after it was shot. There's a little bit of clear coat over the top. Well, actually there is a little bit of sanding. Probably just to get the pips off and level it out as best they could. Then they realized they had a angle problem. And for me to be able to get the action I want, I need to be able to get the neck back angled a bit more. So if theirs is like 32, 31, let me go to my bag, and I think I'll have something in here that I can expand on that a tiny little bit with. But you know what? I'm just going to get my little sander, and I'm going to take a little bit of the plastic off of here because I can feel it overhanging the lip. And that's going to make it a lot easier to get this neck in and out a couple of times. Well, I tried to put that shim in there, but the pick guard is still holding too tight on the side of the neck. And I did try to sand off a little bit of it. And then I tried to put the screws back in, but I can see that because the holes in the body are not drilled out wide enough for the screws not to bite in the body, the neck is not being pulled tight to the body. So I cannot do what I want to do with this part without fixing the holes in the body, maybe removing the pick guard. I'm going to attempt to take the strings out of here, move all that away, and maybe try to reuse them back. These are sacrificial strings, right? These are the first ones, so I'm gonna try that. All right, enough of that. I'm gonna have to get a drill bit to drill that out. All right, I was successful in being able to get the holes drilled in the back of the guitar, be able to get those screws not to bite in the body. The neck is now sitting taut. The .43 seems to have worked out just perfect. At this point, the buzzing I had is almost gone. It might be just fret related because the B and the E are not the same. And there is relief in there more than I usually have, but the action is where it should be, right here at the 17th. Is that the 15th? 16th where it reaches the body, the neck and the body, this one. So yeah. I found a little bit more slop in these tuners than the Music Lilies I bought and put on the TE40 yesterday. Now you won't see the TE40 for a while, unless you've already seen it before this one. I'm not sure if I'm going to change the order or not. On the other Musi, I could not get these pins all the way out. So if there was a possibility of tightening the posts to stop the slop, I don't know. I'm going to take a look at these again when I get the strings off. So I really wanted to see if that was going to work, reusing these strings before anything else happened. There's a little bit more shaving has to be done if I'm going to reuse this. It's doubtful I'm going to reuse this pickguard. Doubtful, very doubtful. All right, let me just say no. I'm not going to reuse this pick guard. I don't like it. Just plain flat black. Blech, I don't like it. There's not much of a back angle on this one. I know Jay put a string tree here on his. The top of the nut slots are fairly flat again. They were better, I think, on the, well, maybe not. I thought maybe they might be a little bit better on the Fusion. But maybe not. Back angle on the nut is not super, especially on the non-wound strings. So I think I'm going to have to cut a little bit more back angle to try to avoid, again, putting a string tree here. If that works out, I can avoid it. Alright, we'll see how this one turns out. There's some things to do. This pot, I don't like the tone on it. It's too much tone when you get to the end, and no tone until you get down to the eighth, like I said, so not so great. Let me see what kind of a value pot they put in there. And this neck pickup, I don't know if it tickles my fancy more than the Artec neck pickup that I prefer, but at the moment there are 0 on Amazon. Even on AliExpress I can't find them. They are distributed by Music Lily. Alright, we'll see where we go in the next one. I have to look at possible pickguard options for sure. I am having a hell of a time finding the right size shim, and I've had to take the neck on and off several times, it's probably more than 10 by now. Not that one, that's the strangest thing. I'm getting no buzzing on the 3 bass strings, and on the 3 treble strings I was getting buzzing all the time, and I'm thinking, have I got a neck problem again? But I look down the neck and I'm going, it doesn't look like there's a problem with the neck not being, you know, the proper radius on both sides and the same height. Maybe I have bad eyes, but consistently 3 treble strings have been a problem and the bass strings have not. Alright, I have to open up these Orpheus and try a couple more. And the G. I don't know what's going on with that side. It's eluding me at the moment. With my treble side problems, I found there was a little gap back here, even with the screw tight. Couldn't get it to sit flat. I could get a 0.5 millimeter in the side, so I'm just smoothing it off, flattening it down, see if I can get it to sit flat and maybe drop the treble side a bit. There is a certain level of unevenness in the pocket where they routed it, and there's, you know, little ripples where there's still poly. Even though you've smoothed it off, there's still shiny parts. This corner up here is possibly a little bit higher than the rest of the pocket. kind of feels that way. Push my finger that way. Yeah. There's a bit of a gap still there. Yeah. Really good here, not so good there. That's going to be really hard to get to. Well, it looks like that solved the problem. All right, that was it. The pick no longer can go in the crack that was right along there. A little lip of poly over the paint. Now it sits like it should. It was so minor, it was really hard to tell from up here, but I had a suspicion, and then when I saw the crack, I go, okay, let's try it. All right, well, that's ready. All right, so I've got the action where I want it. Look at that, that's nice. See, that's the kind of action you want to see. Well, that's what I want to see.